Shungite is a dark energy protector, and when I speak of dark and light, I never mean good versus evil. I only mean day versus night, sun versus moon, a literal elemental energy of light versus elemental energy of dark. And Shungite is only dark energy, 100% dark energy. It is one of the most powerful protectors, especially in the realms of stones, that I can think to exist. It is a north/northwest, sometimes northwest stone. It really, quite literally, the only place that you can find it is in the north. Unfortunately, people of modern day overmine it, and they don't give it the respect it needs. If you find a protector, no matter what kind of protector, if you find any protector that is that strong, and I'll talk a bit more about what I mean by that in a minute, but if you find a protector that is that strong, existing naturally in a native land, the forest needs it, or it would not be there. So to take that much away, people take it by the buckets and, bathe in it because they found it to have medicinal properties, which is true. But, purifies the water, it has cleansing, healing properties. But those properties are going to be very short-lived if you're not deserving of it, or if it was meant to stay out in nature. In paganism, each individual stone would have to be asked whether or not it agrees to come with you to do whatever that you have planned with it. If it doesn't agree to that, and even modern paganism believes in this, even other indigenous cultures that don't call themselves pagan believe in this. Any stone has a soul, it has a spirit, it can think, it can feel, and it can communicate, just not in the same way we do. So it decides whether or not you're allowed to work with it, not you. And it's one thing if you don't know any better. Usually you're forgiven if you don't know any better and you have pure intent, you just don't know any better. If you're taking it by the buckets when you shouldn't be and you just don't know usually you don't get any malice. But you also usually don't get much benefit. It's a totally different story if you're of ill intent. If you have ill intent, whether you just be an evil person in general, or if you have specific ill intent, either way, the wrath of Shungite, it makes Quartz look like a little coyote that just wants to make your life annoying and miserable, versus a deadly hex. And Shungite is the deadly hex. It is the one that, if it runs across someone of ill intent, and that something of ill intent has wronged it, has disrespected it, has tried to set malice against it, this stone literally, if it decides that it is angry with you and it doesn't like you, it has the merit to immediately give you a threefold. It has the merit from the universe, 9 times out of 10, to immediately give you a threefold. Threefolds are interesting because usually, they're a punishment 3 times more painful, 3 times longer than whatever you did to deserve it. Okay, it's a punishment given to you by the universe, and sometimes you have to wait not just decades, but sometimes multiple lives for that threefold to start. But with this, it's no more than a week, because the Shungite is going to actually be your threefold. And you're not going to get any healing or cleansing or protection or anything. The only thing you're going to get is pain and suffering. So yes, while it does, if it chooses, have the ability to protect the innocent against malice and to cleanse it once that malice has finally been dealt with, has finally been eradicated, to cleanse and mend it. Mend the wounds that threat had made. First thing it'll do is get rid of the threat. It feeds off of it and it hunts it like a predator. Next thing it'll do is, once the threat is all gone, tend to the wounds of the land or the individual, whoever, whatever, that threat had previously made before it was annihilated. It's very, very rare for something to have all three: protector, cleanser, healer. It has all three. It's very rare. But if I were to put, a tag on what the largest half of Shungite is, and all these halves are big, but the largest piece is the protector. It's that warrior energy protector. It's not just a passive shielding. It does do some shielding and warding, but it is an active, more so warrior than anything else. Sometimes it will seek ill intent from afar. It doesn't even wait for the ill intent to come along. It will seek the ill intent before it ever crosses paths with it. It's a very wise stone and can see, without fail, who is of true, pure intent and who is of ill intent, who has a pure heart and who is just pure evil. It has no patience for anything that's evil. It doesn't. Even though it hates it, even though it hates evil things, it literally feeds on it. It literally preys upon it. It literally, eats it, for lack of a better term, if you will. It dines on, it feasts on that energy until there's nothing left, until the threat is completely diminished. That is how it gets rid of it. It attacks it and then it eats it just like a predator. But you're talking about energy, usually, instead of something, that a predator would literally physically rip apart. A stone can't do that, so basically it's ripping you apart from the inside out until you finally die. Like I said, it literally has the ability to hex somebody to death. And someone of ill intent might come along and say, "Oh, I'm not afraid of that because I'm stronger than the stone." No one's stronger than Shungite. No one is stronger. Not even a bunch of people. It will win. In a battle, it will win over you. Every single time. You will lose. That is how powerful it is. Normally I say, in the wrong hands, da-da-da-da-da. In the wrong hands, this could be devastating. I don't have to worry about that with Shungite, because Shungite can take care of itself. Actually, more than take care of itself. Take care of itself and then some. Teach him a lesson and then some. I don't have to worry about it. Because when it does get into the wrong hands, it's a beautiful massacre. It takes care of itself. So anyway, I want to talk a little more about the healing and the mending aspect of it. Yes, it is true that it can cleanse water and many other things. Yes, it is true that it has some ability to protect against even things that we would consider almost impossible. Some kind of really like powerful, like for example, poison that doesn't have a antidote or radiation or something like that that is said to be kind of like unsurvivable, it has the ability to not only protect against it, but to cleanse it. That is why this stone is probably extremely sought. It's because even everyday average ordinary people who are not pagan can, at least to some extent, see through their little science experiments and things that it indeed does something. And again, that's just, it's like a dagger through your chest, because you know that the land needs that more than anything else. The land needs that. Lastly, what it teaches is balance, self-confidence, and fearlessness, bravery. By no means does it teach arrogance, no. But it's the ability to just sit there and look at whatever task, whatever situation that you are facing at the moment, and say, okay, I'm going to try the best I can, but I'm not going to fret about the outcome. The what if this, the what if that, it no longer exists at all. And all that is left is, okay, I'm going to try my best, and whatever happens, happens. And, it really does, it removes a lot of that, imbalance in the brain. It's that inner peace in the brain that it teaches. And to kind of think with your heart, not your head type thing, and to uncover strengths within you that you may not have realized that you had. The balance aspect of it is that, you can kind of see the bigger picture. Whereas before you might have been focused, narrow-minded on a fear or an insecurity or something like that. That self-confidence, balance, and lack of fear actually, in the way that I'm talking about it, it brings a not complacency, but a sense of inner peace. And that can actually be, it has the ability to teach you to think differently and change up to break old patterns, to completely shatter old patterns, so that you can mend and become, somebody unburdened. It's actually really good for people with any sort of addiction, because normally you'd be sitting there going, I can't do this. This is too much. The stress is too much. There's no way that I'm going to be able to stop. There's just no way. My addiction is too. Well, all those thoughts it teaches you how to just put them on mute for a while. But it has to be something that you're willing to be open to. Like anything, in order for that to work. But it does very much teach that inner peace.